This is my Kyosho Laser ZX. It's a vintage four-wheel drive buggy from around 1989. As you can see, I just moved and I'm setting up my new workshop here. So this is like half of the cars that I have, but recently I made videos for the Schumacher Cat. This is going to need some work. Avanti 2001, that's going to need a little bit of work. Tamiya Astute, that's going to need a little bit of work. And my fourth vintage chassis in recent history that's also going to need a little bit of work is the Kyosho Laser ZX. So I've been on a bit of a mission lately collecting vintage chassis, especially four-wheel drive chassis. I guess I just want to have the full collection, so to speak. So I have a Kyosho, I have a Schumacher, I have, let's see, the Tamiya Avanti series, I have, I'm missing one. Oh, the Yokomos, of course. So anyway, the Laser is a pretty cool car. This is my first Kyosho ever. And this particular model, I believe, is a Laser ZX Sport because it has alloy front and rear shock towers. Although it appears to have been upgraded with these gold body shocks, which were sort of the higher end shocks for Kyosho back in the day. It's a belt drive chassis, much like the Schumacher Cat and the Yokomo YZ10. Most of the vintage four-wheel drive buggies are belt drive. Came with some electronics, DC Novak 410M1 speed control, DC motor, and a Futaba, I think a 148 servo, relatively low-end servo. So I'm going to take all this out and put a proper modern brushless system in here. The suspension arms do feel rather beefy. I mean, this whole chassis in general feels like it's pretty well put together, like it can withstand quite a few knocks. So that's pretty good if you want to use it as a vintage runner in modern day tracks, which have much larger jumps. So I very much look forward to playing around with this. I got to get replacement belts front and rear, take it apart, clean it up. Maybe get a hex head screw set just to make it easier to work on. I already picked up some alloy front C-hubs. I just happened to find these on eBay at around the same time I got this off of eBay, so I'll install these. It is quite interesting that the front steering knuckles and the front C-hubs, or at least the front steering knuckles, look almost exactly like the steering knuckles you would use for the Yokomo YZ10 870C. The shape and everything looks very, very, very similar. And the C-hubs appear to be very familiar or very similar to the YZ10 Works 91, Works 93, and 94 chassis. This is the 870C. It doesn't have that kind of a C-hub on it, or at least not one that's that large. But it does appear that this knuckle here, the steering knuckle, could be interchangeable with the Yokomos. And I have heard a few things to that end. So that's kind of interesting. What else do I want to say here? This chassis came with gear differentials front and rear. I took a look at the manual. It does not appear that these gear diffs are adjustable with oil. I don't think they're sealed gear diffs. Ball diffs are... I believe ball diffs were made for the ZX, but they are incredibly difficult to find today. The ZXR, which was an upgraded version of this, which had carbon fiber upper and lower decks, I think that also may have come with gear diffs, but I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, even after 20 plus years, I mean, the person who sold this to me took very good care of it. The shocks are nice and smooth. There are no, cracks or breaks or anything. This is really in excellent condition, I have to say. Very much worth what I paid for it. So, yet another RC car. I've completely lost count as to how many I have. Kind of like having kids. Whole lot of fun getting them, but once you have them, all they do is cost you money. So in time, I'll have another video here of this thing after it's all clean and hooched up and everything. But I just wanted to show it. Very nice, very beefy. Again, these Kyosho parts are very, they appear to be very strong. So I like it. I think it's a pretty cool chassis. and it takes, I think it takes 12mm hex wheels. So if you have modern 12mm hex rims, you can throw them on here. The offsets may be a little bit different. I have to test that out. But seems like a pretty robust runner. So I have to debate for myself whether I want to run this or the Yokomo YZ10 870 or the Schumacher Cat once I finish working on that, or maybe the Avanti or the Avanti 2001 for the Vintage Nationals. I guess it's a good problem to have too many cars to choose from. But in any case, this is the new one, and I plan on having some fun with this. So thanks for watching.